observed as follows. Whereas NCT has received directions under 29 of the NCT Act from the MHRD, dated so and so. Project proposal for recognition.
NRC stands for?
I'm sorry, Manoj?
NRC stands for?
Northern Regional Committee of the NCT.
NCT. Okay.
So the proposal is for conducting online, please mark that, 6-month PD-PET ODL program. That's what it is. Through the Swayam portal of Ministry of HRD for teachers having B.Ed qualifications and teaching classes at primary levels 1 to 5 in government aided or private unaided recognized schools. So all of us are being treated on par for the purpose of this. Now, if you compare this to page 126, Manoj, because it's the same day, it's to show that it mirrors with reference to DLED. Page 126 is dealing with those who have DLED. So the second paragraph, last sentence, the proposal is for conducting online DLED program through the Swayam portal for the in-service untrained teachers at elementary levels working in so and so, aided and unaided. That is the DLED one.
That would be for the ones who don't have the B.Ed degree.
Who don't have the B.Ed. So if you see the bottom of the page, the Roman 2, any provision related to duration of the program so as to reduce it to 18 months instead of 2 years and the requirement of 6 months internship to be subsumed within the duration of 18 months. So there was 18 months available. So 18 months was that course and the internship would be treated within that. They were trying to meet the deadline of. So these are two reflection orders. One is for the DLED, the other is for the B.Ed. That's all it was. And confined only to in-service, my friend is right. Confined only to in-service. So you have a finite number who are coming to your lordships today saying we were in service, we had either B.Ed, we're not dealing with DLED today, B.Ed, and we did the 6-month course. Now, no, do we need to go? What I feel, Manoj, there are many notifications after this, documents, etc., etc. I'm not going to trouble your lordships with that because upshot effectively is only this. This is all that had to be done. The states don't deny that we were in the saddle and we had the 6 months. The question is what Devesh Sharma has as an impact on this, for which, if I can take you to 28 June 2018, which is a few pages on, page 133. Page 133 in the same convenience compilation. It's the next document, Annexure C10. 132 is Hindi, 133. Because this was in question in Devesh Sharma and struck down.
Yes.
So if I can just see in exercise of the powers 133 conferred by 23(1) etc. In the said notification, they are referring to the 2010 notification where your lordship saw clauses 3 and 4. In that, after the words in brackets graduation and 2-year diploma in DLED, the following shall be inserted, namely, or graduation with at least 50% marks and Bachelor of Education B.Ed. Lordship had that?
Yes.
So initially, your lordship will remember they had over there the B.Ed and the DLED in that first clause in para 1. Here they've added a fourth, which is graduation with at least 50% marks and B.Ed on its own. This was what was challenged. 2, please read 2. 2 is not challenged. 2 says, in the said notification in para 3, not in para 1, in para 3, following subpara shall be substituted, namely, who has acquired the qualification of B.Ed from any NCT recognized institution shall be considered for appointment as a teacher in classes 1 to 5, provided the person so appointed as a teacher shall mandatorily undergo a 6-month bridge course in elementary education recognized by NCT within 2 years of such appointment as primary teacher. This was not touched by Devesh. Devesh, in fact, subsequently says that if we are protecting somebody by interim orders who has B.Ed, you finish in 6 months and you can continue as eligible. Now let me just take you directly to Devesh so that there's no more further confusion on this count. Devesh is 11th August 2023. It starts at page 229, Annexure C31. 229. Yes. The issue is that para 6. Hence, no, I have 3 paras, not these others. Para 6 at page 235. Justice Nath has it?
Yes.
Yes. Para 6. Hence, the question of law to be answered in these cases is whether NCT was right in including B.Ed qualification as an equivalent and essential qualification for appointment to the post of primary school teacher, level 1. There's nothing about 6 months, etc. The Rajasthan High Court in the impugned judgment has quashed the notification dated 28/6/18, holding B.Ed candidates to be unqualified for the post of primary school teachers on level 1. Then the arguments are recorded. And if I can take you to para 31, which is at page 240. Para 31. It must 31. It must be emphasized that the pedagogical approach required from a teacher at primary level is in some manners unique. These are the initial formative years where a student has just stepped inside a classroom and therefore needs to be handled with care and sensitivity. A candidate who has a diploma in elementary education is trained to handle students at this level, as he has undergone a pedagogical course specifically defined for this purpose. Then at para 33, they refer once again to this approach. And at para 34, they say a person who has a B.Ed qualification has been trained to impart teaching to secondary and higher secondary level of students. He is not expected to impart training to primary level students. Para 38 is the conclusion. It is therefore clear that a B.Ed course is not designed for teaching at primary level. So I would add the words only, meaning it is 6 months maybe, but just B.Ed on its own is not enough. Para 48. 48. Oh, 45? No, they want me to read 44, 45. I'll just read that. 44, which is 243. B.Ed is not a qualification for teachers at primary level of schooling. The pedagogical skills and training required from a teacher at primary level is not expected from a B.Ed trained teacher. They are trained to teach classes at a higher level, post-primary, secondary and above. For primary 1 to 5, the training is DLED, or what is known as Diploma in Elementary Education. It's a DLED training course which is designed and structured to impart skills in a teacher who is to teach primary level students. 45. Therefore, by implication, the inclusion of B.Ed as a qualification amounts to lowering down of the quality of education at primary level. Quality of education, which was such an important component of the entire elementary education movement in this country, which we have discussed in the preceding paragraphs of this order. Para 48. The inherent pedagogical weaknesses in B.Ed courses for primary classes well recognized. And it is for this reason that in the impugned notification itself, it is provided that B.Ed trained teachers will have to undergo 6 months training in elementary classes within the first 2 years of their appointment. This supports what we are saying. So obviously just B.Ed is not enough, but they note that B.Ed plus 6 months is noted in your impugned notification. Now para 63, my lords. It's at page 250, 250. It starts at the bottom of 249, which deals with the Society of Unaided Private Schools. But I'll just come to the top of page 250. The first line there about B.Ed not equipping a teacher to teach at primary level. This fact is implicitly recognized in the notification as well, which still requires a person who is appointed as a teacher with B.Ed qualification to mandatorily undergo a 6-month bridge course in elementary education. This defeats the very logic of including B.Ed as a qualification, as the very notification which pushes for the inclusion of B.Ed also recognizes its inherent pedagogical weakness in its relation to primary classes. It is to cover this defect that all such candidates must undergo a mandatory 6 months bridge course in elementary education! Exclamation mark. The irony here is that all this is being done when the state of Rajasthan already has more than the required number of diploma qualified candidates available, DLED, who are available. This is besides the fact that there is presently no such bridge course available. At least there was none till the disposal of the petition by the Rajasthan High Court. Rajasthan High Court disposed of November 2021. 24th November 2021 is when Rajasthan High Court disposed of. The cutoff date, as your lordship saw, was 31st March 2019. All had completed by 31st March 2019. So any question that arose about a bridge course after that, which is not in consonance with 23, it may be in consonance with something else like clause 2 of the impugned notification, etc. This factor is something that they note because the SLP is coming from Rajasthan, and say that because a bridge course is not being offered and you have enough DLED candidates, as far as we are concerned, we are dumping B.Ed alone as a qualification criteria. This is all that Devesh Sharma says. Devesh Sharma does not go further to say your B.Ed plus 6, which is clause 2 of the impugned notification, is something we are striking down. It in fact shows the contradiction between clause 1 plain B.Ed and clause 2 B.Ed plus 6. and says, what is the meaning of having B.Ed plus 6 if B.Ed is also there in the same notification? That's why there is a pedagogical failing in this. Now, yeah.
Says that it was for NCTE to take this decision.
Yes, para 75, Manoj, I'll just read para to Ms. Pritika Dwivedi is correct in showing me that I should read this out. Para, this is a different para? Yeah, SC7. There is the decision. Para 77. I'm sorry, para 77 also, page 254. Page 254, para 77. The decision whether to include or exclude B.Ed as a qualification for teachers in primary school is an academic decision which has to be taken after proper study by the academic body, that is NCTE, and should be better left to this expert body. Yeah. The recognition order that we have is by NCTE, the one I showed you, the two of them of the same day, one for DLED and one for this with 6 months. So they have approved it fully. No, enough. How much will you show the same thing again? Now, the next order, my lords, is in the MA in Devesh. I'm just showing you the relevant part of it because there was a question that once it's struck down, what is the fate of those who are already been protected by interim orders, etc.? They were being excluded because it was said that this judgment is entirely prospective. So if it's entirely prospective, then even those who had interim orders were not giving. DLED candidates were not being given the posts which they otherwise would have got. Page 262 of the compilation, Malad. At para 8, page 262. The next one. It says, as it appears, I'm sorry, para 8, if I can just read para 8.
Yes.
As it appears that a large number of candidates with B.Ed had already been appointed on the basis of eligibility criteria specified by the educational authorities, we do not think it to be equitable to effect their removal. These are just plain B.Eds. We accordingly hold that the judgment delivered by this bench on 11/8/23 shall have prospective operation, but prospective operation of this judgment shall only be for those candidates who are appointed without any qualification or conditions imposed by any court of law, to the effect that their appointment would be subject to final outcome of the case, which might have had been instituted by them, and such candidates were in regular employment without any disqualification, and were appointed in pursuance of a notice of advertisement, where B.Ed was stipulated to be valid qualification. Services of only such candidates shall not be disturbed because of the judgment. We make it clear that this benefit is only for candidates who are appointed prior to the date of our judgment was delivered, that's 11th August. Mere selection of such candidates or the participation in the process will not entitle them for a benefit under our present order. Moreover, the candidates having B.Ed, whose appointments we are protecting in this judgment, will have to undergo a bridge course. So even the plain B.Ed, who had not qualified like us by 31st March 2019, would still have to undergo a bridge course, and we direct the education authorities to devise such course which would be applicable for each state and union territory within a period of 1 year from today. This course shall only be for those appointees who have been engaged with B.Ed degree only. Here they use the word only finally. For those appointees who have been engaged with B.Ed only in the subject post under conditions stipulated in the earlier part of this order, NCTE shall design such course under overall supervision of Ministry of Education. Upon formulation of such course, the same shall be publicly notified. Time frame shall be given within which the candidates shall participate. Failure of candidate to participate and complete within the time frame, etc., will invalidate their appointment. This applies to those cases which are pending before any other judicial fora. At page 108, let me show the 108. Page 108, yes, C5. At page 108, there is C5, 106, 106. Yes. Rule 7, Rule 9 is what I have to show you at 108. There is in Uttarakhand.
Yes.
I'm just showing you this state as an example. Page 108. Existing at page 108 was the DLED and 4-year. It says 4-year B.Ed. If I can show you in Rule 9, it says existing rules in the middle, small Roman 2, 2-year diploma in elementary education and from any so and so institute, etc., which is known as a 2-year BTC or its equivalent, 2-year diploma in elementary education, DL.Ed / 4-year B.Ed. Your lordships have that?
Yes.
Or graduation with 50% mark. So, and Bachelor of Education, B.Ed / pedagogy special education from an institute recognized by NCT. Therefore, it says at the end, last sentence, it is mandatory to complete a bridge course of 6 months in primary education recognized by the government. This was the original clause. At 110, the substitution is 110 bottom, small Roman 2. You will find that the reference to B.Ed is gone. The small Roman 2, it says column 2 rule substituted by
Page?
110 bottom, 110 bottom,
Hmm.
because it said the existing rule, and this is column 2 rule substituted by, it says 2-year DL.Ed in the state of Uttarakhand from any district so and so and so, so. And then the candidate should have received records related to 2-year diploma DL.Ed, 4-year BL.Ed training in elementary education, or 2-year diploma in education, special education, etc., etc. Now this is what we challenge because B.Ed is dropped from here.
B.Ed and B.Ed with bridge courses dropped.
Is dropped. So we are now disentitled from participating. The advertisement is issued shortly thereafter. That advertisement is also on record. It's in 2024 for 186 posts, which is advertised. The last date we had to apply by was 1st July, but because B.Ed plus bridge is excluded, we are in disentitled. So we file a writ challenging Rule 9 and asking for us to be included in the advertisement. The impugned judgment in that is delivered on 19th December 2024. They reject 8 writ petitions. And
Oh yeah, thank you.
excuse me. And the reliance is entirely, it's at page what of the compilation? This is not in the compilation, but I'll just tell your lordship what it is. The impugned judgment is in that SLP as the impugned judgment in 14.2. But it's very clear in their conclusions at para 6 after they extract the judgment in Devesh Sharma at length, para 62 to 65. They conclude saying, after the judgment rendered by the Supreme Court in the case of Devesh Sharma, B.Ed is not sufficient qualification for appointment as primary school teacher, and completing 6 months bridge course will not improve the case of a candidate having B.Ed qualification. Perusal of the said judgment further reveals that notification issued by NCT on 18 June 18 was set aside by Rajasthan High Court, and judgment rendered by Rajasthan High Court was upheld by Supreme Court. They refer to the review order also, which I have read to your lordships, which I had opened it up. And they say, however, Supreme Court has provided for bridge course only for such candidates who are appointed as teacher in government primary schools. That's not the wording at all, but that's what they've limited it to. On the strength of the B.Ed qualification after due selection. The protection given by Supreme Court is not available to petitioners as they are aspiring for appointment as teacher in a government primary school, and there is no threat to their employment as teacher in the private schools where they are serving. That's not why I filed it. I filed it because I'm not being eligible to apply for the government schools. And therefore, at para 10, they say we are not eligible. And they, para 12, they say the challenge thrown by petitioners to the recruitment rules is without force. Law is well settled. The employer has an inherent right to determine qualifications. Forward.
Now we do an answer.
Okay. No, the others also.
We went with
Yeah, okay.
20 for you.
They'll do this game.
Oh, very well.
Inform the court martial, you will get that date. इसमें लिखिए arguments of Mr. Gopal Shankar Nayan and senior counsel for the petitioners are for the state of Uttarakhand.
Against the state of Uttarakhand for the private individual.
Are continuing. Put up tomorrow for further arguments. Item? Huh? High on board next.
Service matter, high petitioners are retained. Well, same request for 42 also. Well, it's a
Everyone has the
contempt.
same request.
Well, it's a contempt matter, my lord.
ये फाइल में दीजिएगा.
Item 42, my lord. Next week, iron board, my lord, is possible.
कोशिश करते रहिए. चलिए.